Hey everyone, and welcome to the ThermaPen One live cooking classes. My name is Tim Robinson. I'm the Vice President of Marketing at ThermalWorks, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the ThermalWorks Demo Kitchen. And I'm here to introduce the man of the hour, Maciek. Before I do that, though, I want to say just a word or two about the ThermaPen One, which is the occasion for these amazing classes and gathering all this talent. We're so glad you could join us tonight. The ThermaPen One, we've talked about its speed. It's more accurate. The durability of the ThermaPen One has also, the warranty, I should say, has been increased, right? This is a durable instrument. This has been made for professional kitchens where it gets a ton of abuse, right? You can imagine all the heat and the steam and the commotion and the running and the to and the fro. And this has been made to survive. There is a 5-year warranty on the ThermaPen One. It was a 2-year warranty on the Mark IV, but it's a full 5-year warranty on the ThermaPen One, of course, for things like accidentally dropping it in your calibration cup. But seriously, other things, right? So this has molded in seals. It has the watertight compartment that you can get into if you need to for the batteries and for changing your settings. And just the way that this is one molded piece of plastic, there are no buttons to fail. You just open it up and it turns on, you close it and it turns off. So the simplicity of this device is one of the keys to its durability. And it really is also one of its keys to its economic value, right? Because you're going to spend a little bit more than you would otherwise spend on another thermometer for the ThermaPen One. But then while you have it for the 5 warranty years and then the 5 years after that, you are going to save money on all those other thermometers that you would have bought that would have broken, that would have to be replaced. And the ThermaPen One is just going to be there for you, giving you sub-second performance and giving you the accurate readings that you crave. So anyway, just a little pitch about ThermaPen One. We're so excited about it. And it's the reason we have tonight's cooking class, pub-style burgers with bacon jam. So Maciek of Grillin with Dad, right? You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on TikTok, where he has almost 1 million followers. Of course, you can go to Grillin with Dad. That's without a G, grillinwithdad.com, and see all of his content. Maciek has been a huge friend of ThermalWorks for a long time. We've had him here. We love working with him because he's so engaging. He's so charismatic, and he brings a passion to the things that he does, like the bacon jam that he's famous for, right? He doesn't have any culinary training, so he's like you and me in that way. He just brings a curiosity and a passion to food. And he makes a certain salsa that our videographer craves almost every other day, that's made directly in the cold. He just has these great ideas, and we love working with Maciek. So tonight, he's going to use the ThermaPen One to make pub-style burgers. Burgers are one of the classic things you can make with the ThermaPen One. Over a high heat environment, you got to get those temperatures instantaneously to get the burgers off the high heat the moment that they're ready. And so Maciek's going to walk us through all of that. And I can't wait to turn the time over to Maciek. Take it away, Maciek.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So thank you so much for having me on the live here. Like you said, I've been a big fan of ThermalWorks. We've worked together for a long time now. And as you mentioned, I'm not a professionally trained chef. I focus on kind of backyard barbecue, easy to follow, very approachable recipes. So if I can do it, then anybody can do it. So it's an absolute honor to be part of this group of people to do these lives with you guys, like the other ones that you've had with Tuffy, with Diva Q, like some absolute rock stars. And for me, just like a backyard barbecue guy, to be here to do it as well is super awesome. So we're going to be doing pub style burgers. And what sets these apart from your regular burgers is it's a bigger patty. It's a much more filling and hearty burger, right? So I like to kind of buy my ground beef at the store and then shape my own patties at home, because I can adjust the size, adjust the weight of it. I can make it exactly how I like to do it. Starting from the very beginning, you go to the store, you want to buy your ground beef, you go to the ground beef aisle, and there's probably a couple different options. There's lots of packages, you don't know what to get. I like to go with ground chuck for burgers, and about an 80-20 mix. So that means it's 80-20 lean, 20% fat. That's going to give you a much juicier and tastier finished product. For these burgers, I keep the patty size or the weight of it between 8 and 10 ounces. So if you get a 1 pound package of ground beef, which is what they usually come in, I'll split that into two to make 2 burgers. Today I'm going to do 4 of them. I'm going to show you guys how the ThermaPen 1 works great with the big green egg. So I primarily cook with the big green egg, which is a Kamado style cooker, which has its own little quirks, and that's where the ThermaPen 1 comes in super handy. So I've been using the original ThermaPen for a long time, and when this thing came out, it was awesome. A big improvement, for those instantaneous readings, and such a big benefit when using a Kamado cooker like I do. So let's get started. Let me show you guys how I season my beef, how I make my patties. We'll grill them up, put all the toppings on, make the condiments, make the sauce. Hopefully we'll make a delicious burger. If you have any questions, feel free to chat them in. I have my lovely wife helping me out behind the scenes here, so she's got the chat window open. So any questions, feel free to just shoot them my way. So like I said, this is a 1 pound of ground chuck, 80/20, straight from the packaging, right? So seasoning this, I keep it pretty simple. So I go about, for 1 pound of beef, a pretty hefty pinch of kosher salt and an equal amount of black pepper. Get that nice in there. Okay. The next thing that I like to do is add a little fish sauce. This is a little bit different, but this will add that kind of umami flavor to your burgers. Now, a little bit goes a long way with this stuff, so don't do too much. Just a couple dashes, maybe 4 dashes is all that you need, and it's really going to bring out those flavors. It's not going to make it taste fishy, so don't worry about that. It just kind of gives it that something a little bit extra. And then about a tablespoon of Worcestershire for that kind of tanginess and savory flavor. Okay, just like so. And that's really it. I don't add any eggs or breadcrumbs. Some people like to do that. That makes the burger a little bit more like a meatloaf to me. I keep it pretty standard, just with these couple additives, and that is it. So mix all that together. Okay, and we'll shape our patty here in just a minute. Make sure it's well combined, especially with the fish sauce, with the salt and pepper. I'm also going to season this before it hits the grill on the outside. So this just makes that beef, really brings out that beefy flavor and taste after you grill your burger. All right. So question came in about the pepper grinder. So this is a gravity pepper grinder. So when you turn it upside down, it just turns on. I get these on Amazon. Just search for gravity pepper grinder and you'll find these. You can put salt in here, really any spices. It's a pretty cool gadget. One-handed, easy use, especially when making content. All right, so here's our 1 pound of ground beef. So I'm just gonna split this into about equal parts. And that looks about right to me. So this will be our patties. I also like to form these by hand, so you don't kind of overwork them. If you press too hard, or if you use one of those like patty shaping gadgets, they come out a little bit too tough sometimes. If you do it by hand, you can really get it however you like it, right? So if you have your buns handy, whichever kind of buns you're using, for these burgers, I like to use the Kaiser rolls. They're a little bit more hearty. Again, it's a much more fitting bun for these big burgers. So just make it a little bit bigger than the shape or the size of your bun, because these will shrink up and puff up a little bit. So that's kind of what we're going for. Make a kind of a divot in the middle to prevent the burger from puffing up too much. And this is ready for the grill, right? So we do the same thing with the other one. Again, just a nice kind of you want to keep these about the same size because they'll cook at the same time that way. If one's a little bit thicker than the other, a little bit bigger or smaller, that's fine. We're making this in the backyard. It's not a competition. So plus we've got the ThermaPen, which will tell us exactly what the temperature is while these are cooking. So I have 2. Let me take out the 2 other ones that I made ahead of time. So this was, again, 2 pounds. 2 pounds of ground beef. So that made 4 patties. So we'll do 1, Do the other one. Here's these, and like I mentioned, I'm gonna season these up now on the outside. You can use any barbecue rub, any beef rub. I like to stay away from the more sweet rubs when making these burgers. I like to keep it a little bit more savory and a little bit more bite. For this one, I'm using Hardcore Carnivore Red. It's a good pepper-based rub, really great on burgers, on chicken, really on anything. But just give it a nice even coating on the outside. We'll do one side and do the other one when we put them on the grill, right? And these guys are ready to go. So let's talk about the grill setup. So I'm using the Big Green Egg, which again is a Kamado style cooker. It's charcoal, and I'm cooking these directly over the coals, right? So direct heat. Temperature wise, I'm keeping it between 400 and 450. Now, the one thing when cooking burgers, especially something that's an 80-20 blend like this, is there's going to be a lot of fat dripping out of these burgers. And if you cook with the lid open, that's going to create crazy flare-ups, and your burgers are going to burn on the outside. So I get a lot of questions, you know, hey, when I cook my burgers, they always burn on the outside. There's so much kind of flames shooting up. How do I control that? And you keep the lid closed. Put the burgers on, close the lid, cook them for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and check on them a little bit later. But that's the best way for controlling those flare-ups on the egg. So let me open this up here, right? So it's 400 degrees right now, and the longer I keep this open, the hotter it's gonna get. So you have to be pretty quick with this. Yeah, you can leave it right there, that's fine. So the burgers will just go on four patties. So normally when I do these, if you take these out of your fridge and they're a little cool, you know, this size, this thickness, it's about 5 minutes per side. These have been out for a little bit, so it might be a little bit quicker of a cook, but, you know, we'll check. You know, time is always kind of a guideline. Temperature is going to be your final judge of if it's done or not. So let's close that, set our timer. Set this for 5 minutes. And we're off. All right. So a lot of questions always come in about, you know, how long to cook these for and when are they done, right? Like if you cook a steak, I like my steaks more on a medium rare side, which is about, you know, between 125 and 130 internal temperature. For ground beef, it's a little bit different, right? So what happens is, put this here. So what happens, you know, when you buy a steak at the store and you go and you bring it home, you like to cook it medium rare, you're going to throw it over that hot grill. It's going to sear that outside, but the inside of the steak, you know, is sterile, right? So there's no bacteria, there's no growth inside. So that's why it's safe to eat it medium rare or rare, because you get that sear and crust on the outside. With ground beef, especially store-bought ground, it's a little bit different because this was ground up and it was sitting in that meat case. You know, and you know, there's potential for bacteria to grow on there, or you know, stuff to happen to it. So that's why it's important to cook this more on the well side. But so we're going to bring this up closer to 160 final temperature, and it's still going to be plenty juicy because we're using a good blend of that 80-20 ground beef. So it's not going to dry out, and it's going to be perfect. Question?
Do you worry about losing heat on your eggs when you have the lid open while filming IG content?
A little bit, right? So I try to be pretty quick. So the question was about losing heat on the egg. The one good thing about it is because it's a ceramic cooker, right? It has really thick ceramic base on the top. It retains heat very well. So even if I open this and I'm cruising at like 450, I'll close the lid and it's going to come up to temperature pretty quick. So, but I always try to be pretty quick with this stuff, so I'm not wasting too much of that heat, and can get this knocked out pretty quickly. So let me get this here. And while those are cooking, we'll start. I'll kind of go over the condiments and what we're doing with these burgers. We move this out of the way. All right, so for my burger toppings, again, with these, we're going to kind of a classic finish. So I have, so we've got lettuce, tomato, thinly sliced red onion, some pickles, and some cheddar cheese. One other thing that I have that was mentioned before is this homemade bacon jam. So this is my absolute favorite topping. It's great on burgers, great on sandwiches. This is rendered down bacon, onions, little Worcestershire, and a little bourbon. Takes about an hour and a half to cook. It's super easy to make. I have the full video on my Instagram if you guys want to check that out, or just shoot me a message and I'll send you the recipe and the clip. Uh, Stays and keeps in the fridge for a long time. You just put this in a jar, put it in the fridge, and then scoop it out on your burger when it's ready, and it's absolutely delicious. So all right, so burgers are cruising. So see, I put, so we put about 2 pounds of, ground beef. The egg was cruising at 400. The temperature dropped, to about 375 right now, which is kind of expected because, there's a lot of cold beef in there, but it'll climb back up a little bit. And then we'll check on it when the 5 minutes is up. So you have about 2 more minutes to go, and we'll check. So I like to flip my burgers kind of once, do go about 5 minutes, give them a flip, do another 4 or 5 minutes, check the temperature. And then if it's, if it needs more time, we'll leave it on a little bit longer. If it's done, then we'll pull them off. Okay, so those are cooking. Let's prep the burger sauce. Okay, so this is it's not really a secret formula. It's pretty easy to do. Kind of my go-to mix for a spicy burger sauce. So you're gonna go about equal parts ketchup and mayo. Put this in here. And you can really get, creative with these. Like I said, this is a good base that I use whenever I make burgers at home, but you can add other sauces, other flavors, really try to mix it up and see what you like. And that's one of the great things about cooking at home is you can really tailor it to your taste buds and what you like. And go with about a tablespoon of sriracha for a little kick. And we'll go with another couple dashes of Worcestershire. I love putting this stuff on everything. It has a nice kind of a tangy flavor, and it's great on the beef, great on a topping, on the sauce. And just mix all this together. This will be, have a little bit of a kick from the sriracha. If you want this more on the sweeter side, you can add a little bit of honey or agave nectar. Again, really a lot of options here to get this to what you like. That's looking pretty good to me. Let's set this aside. Our 5 minutes are up, so I'm gonna check on the burger. So on this first flip, I'm looking for a nice crust on the bottom of those patties, right? I want that flavor to built in. That's really where a lot of the flavor comes in, is from that crust that develops, especially cooking over charcoal. It's really an unbeatable flavor. That's why I like cooking on the egg as much as I do. So let's cook, take a look. Might have to give these guys another minute or so. All right, so you can't really see, but yeah, let's go another minute. We can crank this up a little bit more, get this closer to 400 degrees, again, to develop that crust and get it better. So temperature control on the Big Green Egg, another question that I get all the time. There's two vents, there's one on top, one on the bottom. The more that you open it, the hotter it's gonna get, because more airflow comes in and it brings up the temperature. So that's why it's important when checking temperatures. And that's why the ThermaPen 1 comes in so handy, because I can open the lid, use the probe to check the temperature, close, and continue cooking without, raising the temps too much on the egg. So we'll give that another minute or so and give those guys a flip. Mix this up some more. Okay. We'll get the buns ready as well. So like I said, for these, I'm using these Kaiser buns. They're, much more hearty, much more filling, and a much better bun for these, thick pub style burgers. So take a couple of these guys out. And these I'll toast up on the egg at the very end, right? So just like any protein, even with burgers, doesn't matter what you're cooking, once it's done, we'll pull it off. We're gonna rest it for about, a couple minutes. It's gonna stop the cooking process, gonna cool it down a little bit, and it's also gonna raise that internal temperature, right? So, just like when you're cooking a steak, you always pull it, shy of your target finished temperature, because that internal temperature is gonna rise after it's done. Same with the burgers, right? So let's say my target temp on these is 160. I'm going to pull them off, about 155, 156 or so, rest a couple minutes, and it's going to come up. Those juices inside are going to redistribute to get a nice juicy bite all throughout the burger. If you pull them off and just start eating right away, all the juices will come out and it's going to be kind of too hot. So it's super important to let your meats and your proteins rest. All right, let's give it a look. All right, so these are looking much better. So I'll give these guys a flip. Perfect. Okay, so now real quick, I'll take a little bit more of my seasoning, season this side. And again, you can play around with this. If you like them a little bit more spicy, a little more flavorful, you can add more or a little bit less. Again, we'll try to work pretty quickly because I can see the flames kind of, starting up already from all the fat that's dripping down. Even just a minute or so after these were open here. Let's bring the camera up a little bit so you guys can see kind of what I'm looking at. And here, how's that? All right, so 4 burgers are on. So you can see, the flames already building up. When the lid was closed and I open it up, it's, you can see the little red glow, but no open flame. And the longer I keep this open and all the kind of fat that you see and hear dripping down, it creates more of those flare-ups and has a more of a tendency for these to burn. On this one, you can see kind of all these red juices flowing out. I want these to be clear or very close to clear for this to be perfectly safe and close to that finished temperature. So let's close the lid, let these guys cook. I might move them. One thing when cooking with charcoal is I can see that kind of this center section and closer towards the front is a little bit hotter, right? That's kind of where the fire is developing, and this backside's a little bit cooler. So you can move these up to get an even cook to make sure that, they all finish cooking at about the same time. You can hear and see the smoke coming up because this is now directly over that hotter section of the grill. So, all right, let's close this up. Lump charcoal. All right, so the Big Green Egg being a Kamado style cooker, it uses lump charcoal, which is different from your regular briquettes. Briquettes are kind of the square shape, have a little bit more filler material in them. Lump charcoal is just all natural wood that's been kiln fired, so it burns a lot longer and burns a lot hotter. So I use either Fogo brand lump charcoal or Big Green Egg brand because it's just more readily available where I live. The main difference really with these is the size of the chunks. So I like a good medium to larger size chunk because those burn longer and they don't clog up the vents inside the Big Green Egg. This thing can work as well as it does because of all the air and how it circulates inside the grill. If you use charcoal or like lump, lesser quality lump, it has smaller chunks, smaller pieces, and they tend to kind of clog up the vents and just not work as well. So bigger, medium-sized pieces work perfect, and that's Fogo, and the Big Green Egg brand charcoal is good too. All right, so we are looking really good. Burgers are coming along, so we have probably another 4 or 5 minutes, and we'll temp them. On burgers, one thing to keep in mind, I try to temp them maybe once, at most twice, because if you keep poking holes into into those patties, they're not super big, so all those juices will come come running out. So we'll check the temperature once. We'll see it should be kind of right where I want it to be, and if it's not, we'll let them on, leave them on for another minute or so, and then during that rest period, again, it can raise up as well. So get all this here ready. We got the bacon jam, got the sauce, got our toppings. All right, we are in good shape. Any other questions? No. All right, awesome. Thermapen 1. Again, super awesome. The durability on these things is great. I know, it was mentioned before, but before I started using these, all the other kind of store-bought, the lesser quality ones, I have to kind of replace every year or so. But this, I still have my original Thermapen, and it's working great. So, definitely something very worth investing into. All right. See, so a lot more smoke coming out. So that means there's a lot more of that fat dripping out on the charcoal because now the burgers, all 4 patties are directly over that kind of hot zone. So they are And temperature is still kind of hovering right around 400 degrees. So it's not getting too hot because we're controlling how much air is entering towards this bottom vent and how much is exiting towards the top. It does smell really good though too. So let me open this.
What are some other flavor profiles that you like on your burgers?
So burgers, right? So this is kind of a very classic way of making them. Mushroom and cheddar is a really good one. I love mushrooms and they go so well on burgers. Also just bacon and an onion. So even something just like with this bacon jam is really good. This is sweet, savory, a little tangy. So this is really good, even just on its own. I also really like doing smash burgers. So more of a, like an Oklahoma style burger with a very thin patty, kind of smash it on a, like on a big green egg on the hot cast iron half moon. Do some thinly shaved onions on top, a little cheese and, you know, ketchup and mustard, and it's perfect. All right, go about 2 more minutes and we'll check on that. Let's see, we got everything else here ready. So we are doing good. So yeah, overall, I mean, burgers are a really good and easy weekday cook. You know, takes a couple minutes to prep. You saw it went pretty quick, and between 10 and 15 minutes to cook these, depending how big they are and how fast you're cooking.
What's your absolute favorite?
Favorite thing to cook? It's probably ribs. I love eating ribs. I've always enjoyed ribs. I never made them at home before I got the big green egg, and I really kind of dialed in a method that I like for my ribs. And a big kind of game changer on those has also been cooking to temperature. When I first started cooking ribs, I followed the kind of, you know, internet method of 3-2-1 ribs, meaning you cook for 3 hours, then you wrap them for 2 hours, then you cook in sauce for an hour, and they come out very tender, but almost kind of overcooked where they tend to fall apart, which, you know, a lot of people like that, really fall off the bone. I like mine with a little bit more bite, so I kind of adjusted that method and focused on the internal finish temperature on those ribs, and they come out perfect every single time. Plus, I have a lot of videos on my Instagram if you guys want to check those out. I actually made a rack of ribs the other day, so all right, let's take a look at these. All this smoke is coming out. All right, so one other thing I like to do here towards the end is if you leave the lid open, if you want a little bit more char on your burgers, leave this open for just a minute. The juices are starting to run clear, so these are getting close to done. We'll check the temp in a second. But this is gonna create that extra kind of fire under the burgers to give it that nice sear and crust on the outside. So let me just see how these bottoms are looking. All right, these guys are coming along real nice. And after a while, you know, once you start cooking more of these, you'll know kind of, you know, based on how they look on the outside, how firm, how they feel, you know, what how far along they're done. So all right, let's check the Thermapen to see the internal temperature on these. So again, I'm going for around that. Yeah, let's bring this in a little bit. You know, again, poking right in the middle, right? So if you can see, so we're at 149, 150 on this one. So literally another minute or so. Check this one here, right? So 146 and this temperature shows up almost instantly. So they're cooking nice, and see, this one's a little bit lower, right? So this one's on this cooler side of the grill. So this one's in the 130s, that one's in the 140s. So what we can do is move this guy here, right? Move it around. And we'll go another, I mean, maybe another minute or two is all that it's going to take for these burgers. Again, my target temperature is, you know, 155 to 160. So I'm going to pull them off about 155. And you can see the juices on this guy here. Not sure how well you can see. There's still a little bit of red, but they're starting to run more clear now. So these guys are almost ready. So okay, let's close this. Let me put the cheese on actually, which is, yeah, they're at the very end. So this will be perfect for that, right? So we'll go a slice of cheese on each guy. This will take about a minute to melt, which will get our burgers nice and finished. All right, close this. All right, yeah, you can take this back. Okay, go ahead, go back, guys. So those, once these guys finish, once the burgers are done, I'll pull them off to rest them, and then I'll put the buns on to toast these up. Now these will take 30 seconds, open lid, and they will be good to go. Question?
Big minute walk content coming soon?
Ooh, big green egg wok. Yeah, I need to cook more on the wok. I've made a couple recipes on the wok. I don't know why I don't cook more on it. It's pretty cool. It's an awesome tool for making a lot of these Asian dishes, Asian style dishes or stir fries. There will be more of that coming soon. All right. Anything else? No questions? All right. We are almost done with our burgers. Let me see. All right, perfect. These are good. So I'm gonna pull these guys off. Pull the patties. Ooh, nice and melted cheese. So I'm gonna put those on the cutting board. We'll let them rest for just a minute. And these will go on. You know, you can put a little bit of butter or mayo on these to toast them up. If it's nice and hot, you can just toast them as is without anything. So that's kind of what I'll do. And again, these go really fast, especially now with this lid open. These will get super hot. All right, we're going. Perfect. Oh man, these burgers are looking real nice. It's a little toasty. Okay, you don't want to leave these on for too long because then they'll just start to dry out. So just a little, you know, a little toast, a little extra charcoal fired flavor is all that it takes. See, again, the lid is open and this fire is just building up. So it's one of the things that I love about the bigger neck. So this is kind of all that I'm going for, you know, little grill marks, little char, little toastiness on these bottom halves. Pull them off before they burn too much. Okay. All right, let's assemble these bad boys here. Let me put these tops. All right, so super easy. We'll go with our sauce first. Mix this up a little bit on the bottom. I do, yeah. So I do have a couple other grills. I do have a Traeger that I use sometimes too. I use that more for smoking, right? It's a decent smoker, so super easy and convenient, especially if you don't have time to kind of sit around and manage it because it's gonna plug and play, right? Kind of set it and forget it. I have an offset smoker sitting in the back. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. I have a pit barrel cooker, and I think that's it. All right, we'll go a little bit of lettuce on the bottom here. All right, so I go sauce first, go lettuce next. This is gonna will help protect the buns from getting too soggy from the burger that's gonna sit on top of it. So the burger goes on next. Get that. Ooh. And these will be really nice. Okay, now we'll go with the bacon jam next. I mean, you guys should really try this. Again, on my Instagram page, the full recipe, it's super easy to make. Bring this in so you can see a little bit better. Just kind of, can you see that? Right, just kind of bits of bacon, onion. It's delicious, sweet, savory, and it's amazing on burgers. So just kind of scoop that on top like so. Hopefully the kids are hungry. You guys hungry for burgers? Yes? All right. Nice. Put a little bit more on this guy. Okay. So we'll do our tomato next. So again, pub style burger, right? It's a big, hearty, very filling burger. A lot of toppings. Make sure you get, big tomatoes, cut them into thicker slices. So again, you get a nice big bite of everything. Okay, we'll go a little bit of this red onion. Not everybody likes kind of this raw red onion on burgers. I like the crunch and the kind of, real oniony flavor you get out of it. So if you're not too big on these, you can always just kind of toss them in a pan, saute for a couple minutes to get them a little bit more mild and sweeter. But
Have you given your kids thermal works yet?
have I what?
Have you given the kids their own thermal works yet?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, we have ThermalWorks has these cool little keychain thermometers, kind of, or not a thermometer, just it's a keychain or a keychain shaped thing, and it kind of shows you what the temperature on the outside is. So the kids have those on their backpacks. When it's going to show it off to their friends. It's a really cool thing. All right, we'll go a couple of pickles on top. And these burgers are getting close to done. A couple more here. All right, and now we'll do the sauce on the top as well. Ooh, man, that is that's a really big, nice burger. Look at this. See, look, how long did that take? 20 minutes, right? Start to finish, roughly 30 minutes. Okay, so right now, right, we pulled everything off the grill, had the lid open for a couple minutes. So right now it's about at 450, and it's probably going to get closer to 500 because there's nothing inside, so nothing needs to warm up. So, but now with the big green egg, right? So I'm done cooking. The burgers, right, are prepped to shut it off, right? Just kind of close the top vent and the bottom air vent. So that, right, stops the airflow from going in and coming out. So it's going to stop, it's going to take out the fire. It's going to start bringing the temperature down, and whatever lump charcoal is left in there, you can reuse the next time. That's another good thing about lump charcoal, is that it's reusable and a little bit more efficient than briquettes. All right, so let me bring one of these up, show you guys. Holy shnikes, can you see? Look at this. Can you see that? Yeah. All right, nice big patty. You get your lettuce, your sauce, your bacon jam, tomato, onion, pickle. All right, so let's cut this guy right down the middle. And see what it looks like. All right, so cook to 155, and check this out. I'm not sure if you can see, right? Look how juicy the burger is, right? It's nice, fully cooked meat. Juices are coming out. Perfect, right? Oh, there it goes. Let me go over here. So one last thing to do, give it the old taste test. I wish you guys could hear. We're here to try it with me. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It is really nice. Juicy and tender meat, not dry. All the flavors come through. Again, you can't taste the fish sauce, but it just gives that meat something a little bit extra. The bacon jam, the raw red onion, the sauce. It's really good. Mm-hmm. I had to do 2 bites just to kind of make sure. But that is nice. All right. So, any other burger questions? No questions? All right. So that is it. Well, thank you so much, ThermalWorks. If you guys have any questions about this recipe or any other recipes, follow me on Instagram, Grillin with Dad, or go to my website, grillinwithdad.com. Happy to answer any questions, point you guys in the right direction, help you out. Again, big thanks to ThermalWorks for having me here, and give it back to you guys in the studio.
That looked amazing. All of us, the crew here at ThermalWorks, we've been working a little late to get these classes done and haven't had our dinner yet. And it's almost cruel to have to watch that kind of a thing while you still haven't had a chance to eat. You know, I forgot to mention that Maciek actually won our cook-off. We had a cook-off here at ThermalWorks when we launched the Smoke Axe. We had a bunch of different people here, celebrity chefs and barbecue championship teams. And we had a cook-off using the Smoke Axe, and Maciek won. I had to remind myself of that fact. And now you know why, because he makes amazing, amazing food. Thank you so much, Maciek, for taking us through that and for the amazing preparation. Hopefully you got the bacon jam recipe. We put it into the notes there. We'll put it down below the video when we put up the recorded video as well, so you can make that at home too. Hey, next week we're going to take a week off. It's August, so you can go chill by the beach, relax for a week, and then we'll be back the following week on August 19th. That will be with Rose Levy-Berenbaum, and we'll be making molten lava cakes. The week after that, we'll have some Texas barbecue, so we look forward to seeing you then as well. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us.